And Jamie went to college. Jamie's older brother Dan went to college with my older brother, and Dan played a big role in Jamie's life. Jamie is here to speak about his relationship with his brother and our relationships with others. He's here to speak about brotherhood and how powerful positivity is. While he's speaking, reflect on how you can model in your life what he's talking about and how you can bring it into the Xavierian community here. Also, keep in mind how privileged and lucky we are to have the people we have around us and all the graces given to us in our life. Without further ado, Jamie Breen.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
I think it works good.
Okay.
Alright, so I've been a family friend of the Caseys for about 5 years now, and they've been a huge support in my life, especially over the past 2 years. You don't really know how much you need your friends until something like what happened to me 2 years ago happens. As Joe said, my brother Dan played rugby for St. Anselm College, which is in New Hampshire, and he was the biggest support in my life. He was the kind of person that you want in your life as a brother, as a friend, and just even more as a general person with a kind heart and somebody who shows compassion in all situations. And you know, you don't get things done the right way the first time, but with my brother around, all the obstacles in my life, and I'm not shy enough to say that, there's a lot of obstacles in my life because I'm in a chair and I have cerebral palsy, which is muscle weakness disorder. It's a chronic disorder, which means it doesn't completely ever go away, but it can get better, and I can live within my limits and still have a successful life. But everybody in this room has role models and people that they look up to. And I'm not lying to you when I say that I feel as though I could do anything when Dan was around. And he made it possible for me not only to go out in the community, to go to a typical high school. I went to Situate, that's where I grew up. I went to Situate High, and I grew up. I went to every single grade, just like everybody else does. And when I was growing up, Dan made it possible for me to do every single thing that everybody else does. And when we were participating in stuff together, whether it was sports, school, other things that a typical guy growing up in our world does. So Dan made it possible for me to do everything. And I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for Dan. Because he gave me the confidence that I have. And now I'm speaking to over, I don't know how many people are in here, 300 people. So how many people can say they have confidence to do that? And that was because of my brother Dan. And so now I'm here. I graduated from Stonehill College in 2014, and I started looking for jobs, just like anybody else looks for jobs. And there's a stereotype that goes out in this world that it's going to be, quote unquote, difficult for somebody in my predicament, which I think is really funny, so somebody would call this a predicament that I'm in, because I love my life. I absolutely love my life. And people say, you know, you have a disability, you're in a chair. Yeah? But I've always figured out ways to make myself happy, ways to get by, ways to make the best out of every situation that I come into. Because you only get one shot at this life. And this is the card that I was dealt. I can't go back. And having a person like my brother in my life, it's awesome. Because, yeah, I have these challenges, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time specifically talking about, you know, the day-to-day challenges and what I go through, because I don't go through them without a purpose. I don't go through them like, I'm not here to preach to you about what my challenges are, because you know what? That doesn't help you. Me standing up here talking about me for an hour doesn't help you. But what does help you is talking about my life in a way that relates to everyone. And 2 years ago, I lost my brother in a car accident. And I was at school at Stonehill when it happened. And I was, you know, busy with school, and I was caught up in doing my thing as a typical college student does. And, you know, I thought I would see him on Columbus Day weekend. So I was like, all right, no big deal. I'm going to go home and see my brother. You don't realize how fast things change. And there are so many opportunities as I reflected on my time with my brother. There were so many opportunities which I said, I should have done this with Dan. I should have been here with Dan. But you know what? I was at school. I was doing my own thing. And I got caught up in that for a while. And I didn't appreciate all the times I did have with Dan. I was like always worried about, oh, well, I should have been here. Why wasn't I here when this happened? Why was it that I never visited St. A's? Why was it that I never spent more time with my brother? Why do I care so much about spending time with my brother and my family? It's because you don't know how long you have. That might be scary for a lot of people. You shouldn't be scared about how much time you have to make the best out of your situation and all the opportunities and great things you have in front of you. You should just be in the moment. Because I reflect on all the times that I should have been here, I should have done that. It's a waste of time to do that. It's not a waste of time to be in the moment and to be with the people that matter. You have so many friends here that after your 4 years of being a Xavierian, you're going to keep in touch with all these guys. But there's like 3 or 4 people that you're going to be friends with for the rest of your life. But there's no better friend than a brother. Somebody that you've grown up with from day one. Somebody that sees you on your best days and on your worst days and everything in between. And especially when you go away to college, you're going to have friends. And you're going to have people that you see on a regular basis and every day. And they're going to become like your second family. And depending on how much time you spend here, away from wherever it is that you live, I'm pretty sure some of these guys have felt like brothers to you. And I noticed when I was walking in here that I saw some people wearing sports jackets. How many people are part of sports teams here? I even saw some Xavierian rugby players. So that got me thinking of a story. And that story is, my brother was the captain of the Xavierian rugby team. And he was a senior. So this was 2012. He was a senior. And there's this freshman. His name was Gianpaolo Ruffo. And this story perfectly illustrates the kind of person my brother is. And there's no better example of brotherhood than being a part of a community, being a part of a school, being a part of a sports team. So this is a perfect story. My brother, he saw Gianpaolo his first day on the practice field. He was getting teased and pushed around by the older seniors on the team. And if you know anything about my brother, and I'm sure you will have an idea of who he was by the time I'm done talking, but my brother is the type of person that doesn't leave anybody on the sidelines. He doesn't leave anybody out there to figure it out by themselves. If he can take you under his wing and show you how things should be done, it might not get done in the best way or the easiest way, but my brother always made sure that his friends felt like brothers and his friends felt like family. And that was awesome. There's not a lot of people that I know that can take a complete stranger and make them feel like family. My brother takes complete strangers and makes them feel like family. And you can imagine what that feels like for a person meeting somebody in a totally unfamiliar environment, not knowing what you're going to do, how you're going to live, how you're going to fit in, how you're going to spend the 4 years in a new environment. How are you going to do this? And it seems pretty intimidating for a freshman to go on a campus like St. A's and try to figure everything out in one shot. It's a lot to handle. And people don't expect you to do that right away. And if they do, it's really unfair. And Dan was the type of person that would make that sacrifice, would make sure that somebody felt like they belonged. I heard somewhere that if you feel like you belong to something, it can add 8 to 10 years onto your life because you feel like you have something to live for. And so, the first practice of the year, my brother takes on anybody with a willingness to be part of something greater than themselves, with a willingness to be part of a brotherhood, and a willingness to work hard and show their competitive fire. And if you're willing to do that, my brother would take you onto the rugby team.